How depression physically changes your brain. A new approach to treatment. Depression isn't just about feeling down or stuck in a rut. It can actually change your brain physically. These changes can impact the way you think, feel, and even act. But don't worry, there's good news. With a better understanding of these changes, we're moving into a new era of treating depression. Let's start with the basics. For years, the standard treatment for depression was based on what we call the monoamine deficiency hypothesis. Essentially, we thought depression was caused by low levels of certain neurotransmitters, like serotonin or norepinephrine, those little chemical messengers that help brain cells communicate. But here's the catch. There are over 100 different neurotransmitters in the brain, and billions of connections between neurons. So focusing on just a few neurotransmitters? Well, that's like trying to fix a broken car by only looking at the tires. It's way more complex than that. Research now shows that depression doesn't just affect neurotransmitters. It actually changes the structure of the brain. For example, certain areas, like the hippocampus, which is responsible for memory and learning, can shrink. And the prefrontal cortex, which handles your higher-level thinking and planning, can also lose volume. We call this loss of gray matter volume, or GMV, and it's more common in people who've had ongoing or severe depression. Other areas like the thalamus, caudate nucleus, and insula also get smaller, while the amygdala, your brain's fear center, can sometimes get bigger. When these areas aren't functioning properly, it can lead to symptoms like memory problems, difficulty thinking clearly, and lack of motivation. But that's not all. There's also evidence that brain inflammation plays a role in depression. Studies show that people with major depression have higher levels of chemicals linked to inflammation in the brain. And this inflammation can damage brain cells, prevent new ones from growing, and even speed up brain aging. So, are these changes permanent? That's the million-dollar question. Ongoing depression seems to cause long-term changes, particularly in the hippocampus, which could explain why it's so difficult to treat for some people. But there's hope. Research shows that certain treatments can help reverse or at least slow down these changes. Two of the most common treatments for depression are antidepressants and cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. Antidepressants work by balancing the chemicals in your brain that control stress and emotion, while CBT promotes something called neuroplasticity, which basically means it helps your brain rewire itself in ways that improve mood and mental health. But these aren't the only options. People dealing with depression often benefit from a mix of treatments, like talk therapy, lifestyle changes, medication, or even short-term use of ketamine. Things like exercise, meditation, and a healthy diet can also make a big difference. The bottom line? Depression can physically change your brain, but with the right treatment, those changes don't have to be permanent. We're in a new era of understanding depression and how to treat it. So if you're struggling, don't hesitate to reach out for help. The sooner you take action, the better your chances of reversing those changes and getting your life back. If you or someone you know is struggling with depression or thoughts of suicide, you can reach out to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. Help is always available, day or night.